clerk's gonna run it for right now.
Lucky me.
Exactly, you did a fine job.
All right, guys, it's 6 o'clock. Let's get this meeting started. I'm going to do, let's do the pledge of allegiance. Oh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's do roll call. Member Christine Lattice Drake. Present. Patrice Campbell, excused absence. Melvin Welch.
Here.
Oh, so sorry, sir. My mouth is working, ears not. Dawn Snell. Here. John DeLulu.
Here.
Jaleesa Collins, absent. Carolina Roddy.
Present.
James Axelson.
Here.
Mitchell Miskey.
Here.
All right, first order of business is we need to vote on a new chair. Do we have a nomination?
I'll make a motion to nominate Patrice.
Yeah.
She's our vice chair currently, and I think she'd be fantastic since she's been on here a while.
And that's fine, and we can do that for the first thing, but then we'll just need to appoint a second nomination for vice chair after you do that.
Okay.
So we
So
have
we're
this-
for sure that, like, she's not coming back? Elizabeth?
That's correct, right, yes.
Okay.
Do I have a second on that motion for Patrice?
Second, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any, oh, okay.
Now ask for vice chair.
All right, we need a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Christine.
Second. All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, your meeting.
Okay. You're going to
Congrats.
walk me through this, Ed. So I've never done this before, so you have to walk me through it like a baby.
You'll be fine, you'll do great.
I'm officially nervous next to sitting to the other.
And you're on the left side of me. Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Second order of business, do we need approval of the minutes from the last meeting?
Okay.
So you can just ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Has everyone had the opportunity to read them? And you have?
Yes, yeah.
Can I get a motion to approve in a second?
A motion to approve.
John DeLulu, motion.
So wouldn't you abstain?
Well, you still have to vote, but you don't have to second.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Axelson.
Okay, we have a first
Is
and a
that
second.
okay?
That's fine, then, so you just want to know, all in favor?
Are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion. Anyone opposed? Motion
Right,
approved.
you're doing great.
Okay, and then we have John and Axelson. Okay. Sorry, I'm taking notes. Okay. And then our next order would be new business, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And do we have to announce anybody, or do they?
that will take care of it.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board. Stephanie Streeter, Senior Planner with Community Development. Tonight I'm presenting COA 25-00003, 1206 Massachusetts Certificate of Appropriateness Major. So the structure is located in the Highway Business Zoning District. It was built in 1925 and is a masonry vernacular architectural style. He has a pretty lengthy scope of work, so I'll go through what he's proposing and then break it down for you guys. So he is proposing an addition of a gate to the existing vinyl fence. He is creating a parking area in the rear of the property. He's adding an ADA ramp. He's modifying the existing door dimensions to meet ADA standards. He's elevating the existing porch to also meet ADA standards, and he is including addition of a sign out in the front for his business. So the intent to currently exist as a single-family residence. He'd like to use it as an office space. So this is the front elevation of 1206 Massachusetts. It shows where the gate will go on that white part of the fence, and the sign will be in front. The sign will be a precast concrete, which is consistent with the material of the masonry vernacular structure. Both the addition of the gate and the sign would be Generally, staff level minor reviews. However, in an effort to be more customer service friendly, we didn't want to charge him for several certificates of appropriateness, so we included it in the scope of work. The parking area will consist of concrete pavers that match the existing area. The use of pavers, the applicant states, should mitigate runoff to the neighboring lots. The ADA portion of the parking lot will be concrete pour to meet ADA requirements, and all parking spaces are behind the existing fence and cannot be seen from the roadway. So that's the survey of the rear of the property. The blue is the ADA portion, and the orange are the other spaces that he will be proposing for the concrete pavers. Here we go. Ooh, pointer. So these orange portions here, and then the blue is the ADA. And this section will be the ramp that gets attached to the porch. So currently the existing doorway to the rear, which will lead to the ADA ramp, is 33 7/16 inches by 81 3/4 inches. The door dimensions will be modified to 37 7/16 inches by 81 3/4 inches to accommodate the ADA requirements. The applicant is proposing to replace the material of the door like for like, which is a steel door for a steel door. However, a steel door was a later addition to the structure and is not historically appropriate for the masonry vernacular. So we have added on a condition that will be read later that he should do a solid hardwood door rather than the steel door. So the proposed scope of work for the existing porch is replacing the existing wood with new pressure-treated wood, as well as elevating the porch to be consistent with ADA regulations. So they will be moving that porch to be flush with the threshold of the door as well. This was routed to our consultant, Christine Dalton, and she found that the porch does retain several original features that must be preserved, including the porch roof, exposed rafters, the masonry details, and stairs. However, she did find there were additional items that were added onto the porch that are not consistent, such as the turned spindles, the metal awning, the metal skirting, and the deck boards. She did find that the entire scope of work does meet the Secretary of the Interior standards, should they be, the final approval be conditioned. So we do have a list of conditions that we are recommending. So staff is recommending approval of COA 25-00003 with the following conditions. 1, all original porch elements, including the roof, exposed rafters, masonry details, and stairs, must be retained. Any modifications should minimize disturbance to these features. The ramp and landing should be designed in a way that does not require demolition of the historic stairs and masonry details, even if these elements are concealed. The replacement door must be solid wood, as a steel door is not historically appropriate and was a later addition. 4, the materials for the ADA ramp must be compatible with the historic character of the building. 5, the existing roof over the porch shall not be modified in design. The original form, slope, and exposed rafters must remain intact. And 6, non-original elements such as the turned spindles, metal awning, metal skirting, and deck boards are not historic and may be removed or modified as necessary. This 6th condition was added on because if you approve this current scope of work and he was to change anything that was the non-historic features, he would be required to come back before the board.
Oh, wow.
So this condition allows him to not have to come back before the board to remove non-historic features. So HPP requested action is approval of COA 25-00003 with the conditions stated by staff. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
What do I do at this point?
You can ask if the applicant would like to address the board.
Okay. Would the applicant like to address the board, please? Please come to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, first off. We feel great about all these things. The only thing we would ask would be to change the rear door to not be a solid wood door. Wood does tend to swell in the environment. There are other options to have a wood-like grain if it's a fiberglass door, but just the realistic nature of wood in Florida does not tend to hold up well, and it being a rear access that's not visible in the front facade. That would be the ask, if we could have a modification on that requirement.
Sir, can you just state your name and address?
Sorry. Sorry. My name is Britton Long. I'm one of the owners of 1206 Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Okay, and then,
Sorry, I mean,
is there anything else you'd like to address?
no, just the material of the rear door, if that could be discussed, or I don't know what the process with that would be.
We would go over everything and then we'd go from there.
Okay.
Correct. If the board wishes to change the materials or add or remove any conditions, that is your decision when you make the motion.
Okay. Does anybody have any?
You know, I think fiberglass would be okay if it was the same grain. You know, it would give the aesthetic still of the character of the historic.
No. Does anybody have any ideas on whether or not, like, this is actually in the land development code? Mr. Manzares, I had asked for the land development code, the 10 components that Jack had discussed in the last meeting.
Right.
I still haven't received, I'm not able to open the link, but I wanted to take a look at it to be able to see if it fits within the 10.
So in your staff memo, it actually lists all 10 of the items that are in there. as part
Where's
of
that at?
It's in the staff memo that Ms. Streeter went over earlier. So
It's attached.
Okay, I'm having a hard time with my attachments opening them. I know I'm not the only one because she sent that and I explained. So what I'm trying to figure
you
out
have it so you
is,
can put it up on the screen? Your staff report?
We include it in the staff.
Okay.
Do you have Gmail, Christine?
I do, I have a Gmail too, but she sends it to my AOL. I know I have AOL, I'm an old person.
You don't have a hard copy, do you?
Yeah, I had asked for,
I feel bad, I got AOL.
I had asked for a hard copy as well, so.
Hi, Tisha Manning, zoning manager. If you're having troubles opening any of your attachments, you would need to reach out to the board secretary. Prior to the meeting, we do not provide hard copies.
I did that. I did that.
Okay.
I told her I couldn't open the links.
And she,
Still waiting for another link to open.
okay, sorry about that. I apologize for that.
I don't have a hard copy, I got an iPad copy. Can I borrow yours?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Take all your pages.
Oh, 37?
Did you flip them over?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get out of your way in a second.
No problem.
Stephanie?
Is there a way, can you screenshot that and send it?
You put these on the screen, can you do that?
Thank you. Yeah, there was a couple, I know that I'm not the only one who had a problem, because when she said she kept resending the link, because there were several of us that had issues opening it.
So what Stephanie's gonna show you is the 10 criteria and the findings that you're supposed to
Thank
work
you.
through on doing that. And that's. Got that, yeah.
Oh, it's on here? I have the.
I didn't get that. How am I the only one who never got that?
No, there you go.
That was in the link you couldn't open.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the one that I guess I can't write.
Sorry, it's printed weird, like front to back, so.
No, you're fine, that's fine, that's perfect, thank you.
So the part of the staff report, it breaks it down by, I believe it's 1 through 9 or 1 through 10, however many. And the italicized are the staff and the applicant's findings. The bolded numbers are what the actual standards are. So some of the standards staff noted were not met if these conditions were not added on. So if they remove the masonry stairs, it would not be in compliance with the Secretary of the Interior, which is why we recommended putting it over, so if that ramp was ever removed, those stairs would not be destroyed.
Is that the only turn spindle in the rear? Yeah.
So what do I say at this point, Dan? Do I just have any?
Well, you're having a discussion among the board, so I don't know if there's any other questions or concerns about it.
Anybody else have any questions or concerns?
You do have the one issue related to the request of the applicant for the rear door
With the fiberglass door.
with a similar grain.
With a similar grain. Yeah, there's a lot of, I've used that before in the past, and it kind of it looks just like a wood door, you know. I mean, it's better than the metal door that's there, you know.
What's there now? Is it metal or wood, you said?
Metal.
It's metal.
It's not
Yes,
granite.
it's existing metal door that's been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Fiberglass lasts
jump to
forever.
page 4.
Yeah,
Look better.
yeah, yeah.
And then, I mean, once a
So-
wood door is painted, they can be slick smooth just like that as well. So if the intent's to keep the look, you'd have a better grain look as well with the
The
fiberglass,
Yeah,
finish
fiberglass
as well.
doors, yeah, good.
So that's the door you're looking at right there, right?
Correct, that white door.
I guess I don't understand the issue with a wooden door.
So
My house has a wooden door in the front, there's no problem with it.
it just can turn into a longer maintenance issue with it being with the south sun on it. It's going to expand and contract more than a fiberglass door would than a metal door, and then with the moisture, it just turns into it's more of a maintenance thing.
Longevity.
But you do have a wooden door in the front, right?
No, it's fiberglass.
It's fiberglass? Okay.
It's fiberglass with the window lights.
Better if they match. Sorry, it'd be better than to match the front and the back. Is there anything against the use of a fiberglass door? Any cons?
No. It's a superior substance, yeah.
Okay.
Staff could potentially support the fiberglass as long as it retains the original look of perhaps the wood door. So we could support it. We have done it both with windows and with other doors in the district.
Yeah, especially if the front already has it.
Correct.
I have a question about the signage, because I know that you're saying there's going to be some signage. Where would the signage land on the building?
If we could go back to the PowerPoint. So the signage is out front here.
In the yard.
Mhm. Which is permissible in highway business. They are allowed a monument sign.
Do they have any like special signs for historically building or anything like that?
At this time, because we are developing the historic guidelines, we don't have anything that dictates what it looks. We try to take design cues from the surrounding area. However, because of the small lots, many of the historic homes don't have signs. There are several vinyl signs, so the casted concrete is actually a preferable material.
Yeah, maybe it would be nice to have a sign with the year it was built or something.
He actually applied for a plaque, so he will be getting a plaque.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Anybody else?
Put the staff recommendation slide up. And
I had one other question. The parking in the back for the ADA, is there enough room to get in and out of there, Stephanie? I was just wondering when the garage, like how, is there parking is there?
That will be reviewed outside of this. We don't
Okay.
look at standards of making sure they fit. This is just more allowing it to happen, the materials, and then once he actually comes to do it at permit level, we'll be looking at that.
Yeah, I was just wondering because it, have to be able to get in and out easier,
Correct, yeah, that will be looked at permit level, or if he has to do a mini site development plan, and Public Works will be chiming in with that as well.
That's fine.
go to the one that has the door, yeah. Yeah, there it is. So, based on the discussion, item number 3 under the staff conditions is the one that you might want to consider changing.
I'm okay letting it be a fiberglass.
So now, the ones that I wish Christine was here, because that would be really helpful, because she has given consideration, but she's not here, so I can't ask her questions. Is it possible for her to be here at the next one?
Well, I don't know,
I mean,
It's possible, but I think staff is prepared to answer any questions. you
However,
yeah, but this,
you just made me realize something. She did say must be solid wood. There's a reason she chose that word.
right. And I would rather, if this is her expertise and this is what she has gone to school for and she has that knowledge, she's the person I want to bounce my questions off of. Because she has the reasoning why she has chosen certain things. So, I mean, to be honest with you, if that's the case and I have someone who's gone to school for this and this is their expertise, I'm going to rather go with someone like that.
Yeah, I mean, the reason for the wood is because that's all they had back then. That
Right.
is the truth, yeah.
Right. And there are plenty of homes in Florida who do have a wooden door
Yeah,
and they're
I
sufficient.
have a wood door, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, they're
How
sufficient.
do you deal with the swelling and the temperature and humidity?
They're sealed.
it doesn't, it does, I built a few houses here in town with wood doors, a solid hickory, it's fine. It's just that it's more expensive.
Got it.
That's the issue. I mean, to me. It's more expensive than fiberglass or metal.
Right.
Because-
That's the truth.
But if it had, the back had to be solid wood, but the front doesn't need to be changed, so that's what I'm wondering about too.
That's, yeah.
No, since it is not part of the scope of work, it's not something that we are analyzing. We can only analyze what they are providing us.
Okay.
How did the fiberglass door get on there?
From what I understand, the previous owners, before it was enveloped in the historic district, they did things like that, enclosed the porch, added the white vinyl fence, things like that. But then shortly after, if you look at the permit history, that was when it was enveloped in all those other parts that wasn't part of it.
Got it. Thank you. Just out of curiosity, when was it made? Historical district?
1925, right?
Or when
The
did this-
historic downtown district was established in 2018, so it was prior to that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I don't, me personally, like I said, if Christine Dalton, you said is her last name, Dalton, is supposed to be our person we can reflect off of, and she has that knowledge, I would, if she's not here to be able to ask the questions to, then if this is what she's saying, then I want to adhere to what she's saying. So that's just my 2 cents there. So, I don't know. Does anybody else have any thoughts? Okay. So, Mr. Mazeris, at that point, what do we do? Do we
Well,
go-
so you're okay with, excuse me, you're okay with it accepting the staff's condition, all the conditions as presented?
I would vote to have the wood door, for sure.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I know, I mean, I have an expert for a reason, so,
I like wood doors.
right.
So if that's the case, then it would just be a motion to accept the recommendation with the staff with all 6 of the proposed conditions as presented.
Original portion.
And that's consistent with what the reviewing expert.
Can I ask you a question? You mentioned something, and I am hard of hearing, that's why I'm going to ask again.
It's okay.
Sorry, I literally can't hear on my left ear. Did you say, what was the condition that would have to bring him back in front if,
The non-original elements. So because they were added later and they are not consistent with masonry vernacular, if he were to alter it and that condition was not included, he would have to come back because he's then altering something outside of what you've approved. So by adding this, he would not have to come back to remove those items.
perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Since we have nothing else, do we just want to take a vote on it, or?
Well, you'd ask for a motion to approve
Is
this.
there anyone with a motion to approve?
So I have one more question, sorry. Mr. Long, you had another thought on the,
I guess the question would be to the person who did the study,
Christine Dalton?
but just why it's the back of the house that's covered to put a really expensive door that's going to take maintenance. I mean, it just seems foolish.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe it's
understand.
ignorant on my side to assume.
Well, I wish he was here so we could ask that
But-
question.
Well, generally speaking, the whole, if I could, the whole historic preservation ordinance that was adopted by the city council essentially says at this point in time, we are going to make sure that every building that is in the historic district, as it moves forward, retains its historical elements,
That's the answer.
right? So it's not necessarily whether it's the right door or the wrong door or anything. It's that the door
Maintains it.
it has the historical elements it's supposed to have, as the building is now part of the historic preservation district. And as somebody pointed out, they didn't make fiberglass doors like this back then.
That's the reason why. Yeah, and I think moving forward, enveloping more and more features into ensuring that they're historic for the sake of the feature, the appeal to the town. You know, it has an impact on the economy, it has an impact on tourism, it has an impact on,
Which I would fully back for the front view, you know, that's visible from the street, you can see, but just the back door, but, okay.
So if is your parking in the back? Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I do think it's pertinent. I do. I mean, if your parking is going to be seen in the back by your customers, I think it's pertinent.
and believe it or not, I just discovered this week that there's actually like tours, hiking tours that happen through all of St. Cloud that I did not know about. And it goes through like people's homes at times. That's, yeah, so I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think the historic preservation thing is more of a, like the integrity of the structure versus just the veneer of the structure.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And the regulations in 2018 were for a conversion mandate moving forward.
Gotcha.
So the more and more applicants we receive, the purpose is to return
Yeah.
to the historic nature.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, thank you.
Again, so if you have a motion to approve as recommended by staff with the conditions, I think that's what you're looking for.
I don't want to make the motion. I don't. I have other questions about it, and I again wish Christine was here because I would like to pick her brain. So that's why I'm not comfortable with making the motion. So I'm just being honest.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I second that.
With the staff conditions?
Yes, sir.
To stick with the wood door?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So now you all in favor?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Anyone opposed? No, motion moves.
All right. Other than, you want to ask for public comment now?
Is there any public comment? Do you want to address again?
No, not in this case. And then, so with no public comment, then you're looking for individual board member comments if
Okay.
anybody has any.
Any individual board member comments? Anybody? No? I do. Again, if we're going to take into consideration, this is what I was trying to explain last time. She has the expertise, and she's supposed to be here as a resource for us, is what I understand. I would like to have Christine here. I just feel like it's beneficial then, and I can ask her certain questions and kind of go over some of the things that are important. I mean, does anybody else agree with me on that situation?
No, I agree.
I mean, we've asked in the last meeting, is there a way that we can get a workshop with her, or can we get her here, or how do we make that a?
Well, you can make the request and staff can talk with,
Our goal was to first do a work session to just go over, since we have so many new members of Robert's Rule of Order, Sunshine Law. So that's next. And then she's been out. She's been on vacation, which love that for her. But we're going to be planning the next, and we're going to go over Secretary of the Interior. We're already mapping out our goals. So
What
that
is-
is upcoming for work session.
Okay, is she going to be there?
Yes, she's presenting the work session.
Okay, perfect. And then will she be readily available to us for our meetings?
We can discuss that with the zoning manager.
Okay.
Even if it's something as simple as like a Zoom presence,
Yeah, I mean, if,
so it's
you know,
not onerous.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If she's on Zoom, I'm okay with that. Is that something, Mr. Manzares, that we're allowed to
you
do?
can ask for it and we obviously have to work out. Obviously, Ms. Dalton is a consultant that it's cost the city
Right,
money
correct.
for it appears, so we have
Correct.
to, you know.
Yes, so Tisha Manning, we will pose that question to her. Again, she is a consultant, so she do have other priorities. But we will pose that question to her to see if she is available. She may be, she may not be.
Okay, so since she's our consultant, are we able to reach out to ask her questions regarding these?
Well, technically, she's not your consultant.
She's the board's
a consultant to the staff, and the staff presents the case. And that's how it is. So she doesn't work for the board. She is basically an independent consultant that works with city staff when they review these applications.
Okay, I'm gonna read back over again. It sounded like she was the consultant to the board. That's why. I
Well,
was
no,
asking.
initially, when this board was created and the ordinance was placed, her firm was hired to put the ordinance in place and create the board and do that, but that was the initial scope of her retention on behalf of the city. This process then gradually moved over to the staff. Staff presents the case, and They do apparently rely on her to provide information with regard to the review of these applications, but that is work that they're providing to assist the staff in making recommendations to them.
Okay.
So,
And I think that's part of the reason why she's given us the standards document, because that's kind of like the guidelines.
No, I agree, but watching over again last meeting, I saw where there's a lot of inconsistencies between a he said and a she said, and then when you go back and you look back over it again, there's a lot of inconsistencies. And again, if she's our consultant and she's the person who's giving the recommendation with the knowledge and the education that she brings to the table, she should be
To
here
us,
for us to
yeah.
speak with.
It has to be to us.
Correct.
Because then why are we here?
Correct.
She should just vote.
Correct. I absolutely agree.
We have to be educated a little bit more.
I absolutely agree. Hands down. So that's why, I mean, I think it's a fair request if she's the consultant. I think
well,
it's
no,
okay.
I don't disagree. I just
Yeah.
think that's,
I was here when she was here last, and yeah, she was great.
So, okay. Is that it? Or we don't have any other?
no, that's it. Next meeting, April 8th.
Okay. And then they'll let us know if there's a workshop, right?
Yes,
Prior
there will
to?
be a workshop at the next meeting,
Okay. All right.
before 5 o'clock, I believe, right?
All right. Motion to adjourn? Yeah?
Your meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
A motion.
All right.
We're adjourned.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
You've been